Well, hello there. I'm Randy Cross. Welcome to UnSafe Spaces USA. Good podcast for you coming today. Kevin Sorbo, director, actor. Let There Be Light is his most recent movie. It's going to be available soon on DVD. We'll be talking to him. We'll have our Wambulance. We'll have our UnSafe Spaces Sports. Little bit of the usual menu you see out of us. But first, let's take a look at Kevin Sorbo's movie, Let There Be Light.
Yeah, I'm coming.
You're drunk?
Oh, you can't pull the wool over your eyes.
The basic tenet of Christianity.
Whoa. Don't you dare tell me about the love and the compassion of your so-called God.
What do you think it does to the boys to take the death of their brother and use it as part of your carnival act?
Pays the bills.
Clinically dead in the ambulance for 4 minutes. It's a miracle.
I saw Davy. And all I wanted to do was just put my arms around him. I don't know what to do with it.
You've gotten the best scientific explanation. It hasn't brought you any comfort. Would you consider consulting a different source?
Doc, he is your God, and he's holding out his hand to you. All you gotta do now is take it. Jesus gets whacked, right?
Well, I've never exactly heard it put that way, but yeah.
Follow me here. This ain't brain surgery.
Do you believe that God hears?
God always answers prayers. Sometimes we just don't understand the answers.
This better be good.
That's what I said.
I don't want to lose you.
So my first question is, are you guys ready for the amount of heat that'll be coming your way with this?
Yeah, that little shot there of Sean Hannity from Fox News. Hannity was the executive producer of this movie. So his first foray into films, and we'll talk to Kevin Sorbo here in just a little bit. First, my commentary for the week. I lent my name and a statement or so to something that I believe very much in out in the state of California. There's a bill. It's a California bill. It's AB 2108, put out by Kevin McCarty and Gonzalez Fletcher, a couple of the assemblymen out in California. And what it calls for is banning padded contact football until 12 years old. Not very popular with a lot of people. And I can understand why people love football. But I'll give you a quick quote here. Chris Nowinski, who has been on this podcast, and he's a Harvard graduate. He's got his behavioral neuroscience PhD from Harvard, and he's a founder of Concussion Legacy Foundation. Here's a quote for you from Nowinski. It says, "There's never a good enough reason to hit a child in the head 500 times for a sport." Well, I'm not a scientist. I will never claim to be a scientist. I'm about as far as you could possibly get from a scientist. I'm an example that you don't need to play football at 8 years old. I played baseball. I loved baseball. Played a lot of different sports, basketball, did track and field in high school. I didn't start playing football until the 9th grade. And there are a lot of players that ended up in the NFL and playing at a high level for a long time that didn't play until they also were about in the 9th grade. Now, to cut it off at 12, I'll be honest, for those of you that out there in California that I've been getting a little bit of grief from, if you don't like that, you really don't like how I really feel, because I don't think football should be played until high school. Because I don't see any decent reason for letting little human bobbleheads who can barely hold up a helmet run around and run into each other at full speed. We don't know yet what all those repetitive blows to the head do to a young brain. We do know one thing right now, the way they're studying it. It's not good. Now, that's my unscientific opinion, okay? But I have full support for Assembly Bill 2108, which calls for no contact padded football until 12 years old. And I think it's a great thing for the youth of California. I think it's an unbelievably good thing for their brains. And eventually, the parents will get over it. The youth coaches will get over it. It's about the kids. It's about their brains. It ain't about you. All right. Coming up next, we've got Kevin Sorbo, director, actor. The film, Let There Be Light, was out recently. It's going to be released or is in the process of being released right now on DVD. And we'll talk to Kevin next. All right, as promised, we're joined right now by Kevin Sorbo, actor, director, Let There Be Light, the latest movie coming out or has come out now on DVD. It was in release starting last October of 2017. Kevin, welcome.
It's good to be here. It's good to see you again. We haven't seen each other in a while. It's fun to bump into you on the airplane.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Well, it's always good to go to one of those DeBartolo events down in Tampa. They know how to do things right.
Yeah, they do. It was a very classy event, and it's been a while since they invited me, but every year that they invited me, I was just too busy to come, and I was there for the first couple, so it was nice to sort of get back in that loop again.
Yeah, it's a fantastic group. Yeah, trust me, it was a great time to be around them, and that whole era was really special. Let There Be Light. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Just coming out now on DVD. It's been 4 or 5 months since it was released in the theaters. How's the release going?
Well, the theatrical release was late October, so it ran all of November, December, and into January. It had a good 12-week run there. Mm-hmm. And now the DVD came out just recently. It's on Amazon. It's on Walmart, but it did great. I got to say, I mean, when you're an independent movie, you don't have $100 million to promote it like they do for Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. Yeah. So really got to rely on word of mouth. But there's been such a strong following lately, especially in some of the faith-based movies I've been doing, like What If and God's Not Dead, Abel's Field, Soul Surfer. So this is in the vein of those type of movies. It's a wonderful story dealing with. I play the world's greatest atheist who has his worldview has changed when something happens to him, and he is just on a tailspin of trying to figure out why everything he thought was true or not true has been switched around on him. So it's a story about this love, hope, redemption, characters that people will be able to relate to. I'm sure we've had so many emails coming in, thousands of emails coming out saying this movie has made them just, really think about life and family and what's more important than just the everyday craziness we put ourselves through with work and traffic and everything else.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from that movie is when you're sitting with Frances there on the steps and, well, now Jesus gets whacked.
Oh my gosh! That was Michael Francese. He was. If people don't know who he is, his father was an actual godfather. The guy was a mobster. Michael was a mobster.
Right.
And when he got busted and put in prison, he gave up some information. His father put a hit on him in prison.
Yeah.
So they had to confine him to solitary confinement to keep him safe. And a guard gave him a Bible, and he read the Bible 12 times during his 2 years in solitary confinement, and he became a Christian. And now he travels the country, the world, and he's got, millions and millions of people on his social media, and he basically played himself in the movie. And that line just totally cracked me up because you never hear it put that way. Jesus gets whacked, but the reality was he was whacked.
Yeah, they put out a hit on him.
Yeah, no question. And the movie will there's a lot of very funny moments and touching moments in there as well. And I think people will, really enjoy it, and I hope they get out and support it because like I said, independent movies need the support to get out there. Otherwise, Hollywood's going to get their secular message out there, and shows like Lucifer and all these other shows that deal with negativity and hate and anger and death keep prospering, and we're trying to get movies out there that have a positive message.
Yeah, we talked last week on the podcast to Andrew Hyatt, the director of Paul the Apostle of Christ. Another one of those movies is just coming out now.
Yeah, well, Jim Caviezel and I had the same agent manager for years, so he's a good friend of mine. He lives out near me, out here north of L.A. as well. But I'm getting a hold of Mel Gibson to make sure I get put in a sequel to The Passion of the Christ, because I think they're going to probably start shooting at it about another 2 years down the road.
Yeah. You know, if I'm like a lot of people, I first found out about Let There Be Light from watching Sean Hannity's show. How did that come together? How did that connection ever happen?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I mean, you put out a movie, you take God's Not Dead, for instance. Okay, here's a $2 million movie that I was part of that made over $80 million box office in America and over $100 million worldwide. And Good Morning America, Today's Show, CNN, all these other shows, no interest in talking to us. It's the 5th highest returning dollar-for-dollar movie in the history of Hollywood. There's been thousands and thousands of movies. It's number 5 in dollar return, and they had zero interest because it dealt with God. It dealt with a positive, redemptive values. I joke when I say, you know, if I played a pedophile Islamic Muslim radical terrorist, then they'd have me on. But I say that as a joke, but the reality is they would have me on for that. Mm-hmm. But they have a movie on there that deals with something positive. They're like not interested. So Fox is the only outlet that lets you come on and talk about God.
Yeah.
So I've been on Fox many times over the years, and Fox and Friends, and Hannity, and he called me out of the blue and he said, "Hey, Sorbo, it's Hannity, and I want to do one of these movies like What If and God's Not Dead. Do you have something?" So we flew to New York. We pitched him, and 30 minutes later he wrote a check, and 3 months later we were filming, and 6 months later, after we did all the editing and everything else that needed to be done with sound mixing and voiceovers, whatever, the movie is in theaters. That's unheard of, because money doesn't chase scripts. Scripts are always chasing money. I've got a dozen really good scripts that I'm trying to find money for. So it's not an easy road to finance independent movies. And he came to us. And, you know, like I said, the movie did very well. We did triple what the budget was, and we got a great multi-million deal from Amazon and multi-million deal from overseas and theatrical. And Sean is going to not only get his money back, but he's going to make a hefty little profit too. So we're very grateful to this movie and his support. His support was huge for us.
Hey, you know, if you wouldn't mind, also, could you talk a little bit about the trip to Israel that you and your wife Sam are doing? It's something when we saw each other, you know, last week or so, very, very intrigued, and it sounds like one of those kind of bucket list, once in a lifetime. Because I know a lot of people that say, you know, I would like to at one time go to the Holy Land. And this is an unbelievable opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. All they got to do is go to SorboIsraelTrip.com. That's Sorbo, S-O-R-B-O, IsraelTrip.com. And that gives you all the information. It's July 16th to the 26th this summer. Hotels are gone. They're sold out. We've got the room. We got the best guides. We're going to follow in the steps of Jesus. Travel all over Israel. It's the 70th anniversary of their independence. It's their first year. They're moving their capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem for the first time ever. I mean, every president has talked about making that happen and helping make that happen, but Trump's the only one who actually followed through with it. Mm-hmm. I saw a very funny video from Jimmy Carter to Clinton to Obama to Bush's, all of them saying, yes, we're going to move it. We're going to make sure. And they never did anything. So, you know, I'm impressed that when the other Republicans, which I call rhinos, don't get in the way, you know, our president gets stuff done. So it's very exciting, and people should show up and bring their family. We're making it a family affair. So SorboIsraelTrip.com. It's going to be great. We're going to go everywhere and see everything. And it's actually, we're going to visit both tombs where they know Jesus was buried in one of the tombs. There's a lot of debate over which one it was. So We're going to cover both of those tombs to make sure that whatever pictures you get, at least you got yourself covered.
That's great. That's fantastic. Hey, when we first got together here today by phone, you had mentioned you got back last night at about 2 o'clock in the morning from my favorite spot golf-wise on the entire planet. You were in Augusta, weren't you? I
just was there for the 2 days of practice rounds. Gary Player, I played with Gary 20 years ago at at a celebrity event in Monte Carlo that Kevin Costner and Prince Albert were hosting, and Gary was my pro for 3 days, and we just hit it off. And that was during my Hercules years, and I was in great shape, and I was ripped up, and Gary's all about fitness, and so we talked about things, and I have an after-school program for 21 years that deals with fitness called the World Fit for Kids. So he loved all that stuff. So we've always kept in touch. We've golfed. I've been to the Masters a couple times with him through the years, and so he invited me this year. I stayed at his house with him. We had a big dinner with a bunch of people on a Monday night. We golfed on Monday and Tuesday morning at the Champions Retreat, which is 27 holes, where he designed 1-9, and Mr. Arnie Palmer did another one, and Jack Nicklaus did the other one. So we went out in the afternoons and walked around the sites, and I got to, shake hands and see Tiger again, because I've known Tiger a long time, but it's been a while since I've seen him. And Sergio Garcia, I golfed with Sergio when he was 19, and haven't seen him in a long time. He ran over to me, gave a big hug. I congratulated him on his win last year and on his newborn baby, and it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, how special is that place? I mean, it's just especially the best thing about going to Augusta is bringing somebody that's never been there and just watching them when they see the topography, for one, and just the general beauty, because it's not your typical thing you're expecting to see when you're walking or you're driving down that road with all the fast food restaurants, and suddenly it's basically horticultural heaven.
Well, it's funny. I got the TV on right now. The sound's off, and I just looked up, and there's Gary Player at the practice facility there, hitting shots out of the bunker, and he just put 2 balls in a row within 1.5 feet of the cup with a camera on them. So it's so cool to walk around there. I mean, people have they say television doesn't do injustice, but here's the thing. It's still an amazing course on TV, but when you walk out there are golf courses, but this is the golf course. I mean, this is right up there with Pine Valley and Cypress, and it's just unbelievable, this place. And they have no idea how steep some of these slopes are, because they can't see it on television. And if you miss these greens, like you can hit the front of number 9 and be 15 feet on the green, it's going to roll 90 yards down the hill.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And how far these guys hit. I thought there was a grouping of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Freddie Couples on yesterday when I was out there. I heard they're back out there again today, same group. So I followed them. I wanted to see what they would do over at 13, 14, 15, which is the par 5, par 4, par 5. Tiger went eagle, birdie, eagle in his practice round.
Wow. Hey, did you hear Phil's explanation on how they figured out who was going to go first?
No, I didn't hear.
Reporter asked him, and Phil looked at the guy and went, 4-3-1-0. Tiger's got 4, I've got 3, Freddie's got 1, and he's got none.
Peters has 0.
Yeah,
exactly.
Peters has none. That's how we go.
I mean, here's a really great golfer, but this was a practice round yesterday, and it was 10 people deep on both sides of the fairway just to get a glimpse of this threesome. Yeah. And Peters is awesome, world-class player, but people know who he is. But there's so many people there with kids and other people that are not quite golf literate that only know about Tiger, Phil, and Freddie. That they didn't even know who this guy was, and he's playing right, even with them. But it was pretty neat. I'm glad I got both sunny days when I was out there.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not quite sunny now. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much. Good luck with the DVD release on Let There Be Light and the trip to Israel and everything else. Exciting times for you and Sam.
More to come. I got a movie opening in September called One Nation Under God. We've got a television pilot for a new TV series we're going to shoot in South Africa, and we got Lionsgate behind us doing being the production house. And just staying busy. I'll be in Nashville in about a month and a half filming a comedy making fun of political correctness. I can't wait to do that.
I like that. I like that. Roseanne needs a challenger.
There you go. They got to bring Last Man Standing back. Tim Allen's show was awesome.
It was. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
All right, Randy. All the best.
All righty. Bye-bye. Great. Well, thank you again to Kevin Sorbo. Fantastic stuff. Great to catch up with him. I guess we're all going to be looking forward to that golf tournament, the Masters, this week. But fantastic things that he's doing. and the faith-based film industry seems right now to be extremely healthy. Time now for Unsafe Sports for you. All right, in the world of sports, it's been a pretty busy week. Number one on the hit parade in sports was the NCAA crowned a new basketball champ. The Final Four Saturday and last Monday, and the final matchup was between Michigan and Villanova. Michigan, a real brand. Villanova now has won 2 of the last 3 NCAA men's basketball championships. And that's, I guess, in a lot of ways, and to a lot of people, that's a streak. And winning 79-62, I think it was as decisive a victory as we've seen in almost about a decade in the final game. As a guy that went to UCLA, that grew up watching 60s and 70s UCLA basketball, I refer to 2 out of 3 as a cute little streak. The Bruins won 10 out of 12, in case you don't know that. But I'll leave it to others to give you all the excuses why that happened. But a fantastic performance by the coach, the school, and now for the second time in 3 months, Philadelphia's got a reason to be climbing light poles. Another reason to burn a car or turn something over or have a parade, because Philadelphia's got themselves a national champion. Congratulations to Villanova. What a great performance and an unbelievable closing day or closing run. And the Major League Baseball had their opening day last Thursday. A lot of significant things happened. The regular season is now in full effect. Let's be honest. Now that the regular season has started, many people will be eliminated. We'll hear a lot about the Yankees. We'll hear a lot about the Dodgers. We'll hear a lot about all these teams, Bryce Harper and company. But there's 2 things I'm looking forward to. One is the All-Star game. That's always kind of fun, and it's going to be at the Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. So, heck, there's no downside there. Bryce Harper and company have a home game. And number 2 is the next real significant games to look for that really matter, and that's the postseason, which starts sometime around the beginning of October. Only got about 6 months till all that happens. Baseball does not sneak up on you. All right, from the sports world, to me, the highlight of the golf year is this week and this weekend, the Masters. I've had the privilege of playing this course a time or so. I've gone to this tournament. I went for about 20 years in a row, starting in about 1983. And trust me, the prices for a ticket weren't quite like this when I first started going. It's kind of crazy. And there's one explanation for the ticket prices jumping the way they have from 2017 to 2018. And that's the only reason tickets are like this. And it's the old reason tickets used to be this expensive. Its initials are TW. So, Amen Corner, all this great eye candy, that is the reason ticket prices are through the roof. Tiger Woods. And we saw something which I thought was, I guess, not nostalgic, but it showed maturity. Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson played a practice round together Tuesday. And they're sort of they look like they're evolving into the Nicklaus and Palmer of their generation. So they're going to be the ones that carry on the torch for the game of golf going forward. So, yeah, the golf is beautiful. Golf courses are beautiful. This is the TPC course down at Sawgrass. And the Players' Championship will be coming up here in a little while. But before that, like I said, the highlight of, golf period for the year to me is the Masters. Enjoy. And for the NFL, another heads up, coming up later this month, the NFL draft. And where's the draft this year? It's in Dallas. And if you've got Dallas involved, you gotta promo that, don't you? You gotta drop a nice, big, juicy video about all the draft picks going to Dallas, and you got Jerry Jones. Check it out. Yeah, give credit where credit is due. That's courtesy of the NFL Network and Fox Sports or Fox Studios. Unbelievable promo. April 26th, the NFL draft's coming up, and it's going to be a fun weekend. That's what it is. It is a weekend. The 26th is a Saturday, so the draft Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Book it on your calendar. Another one you don't want to miss. All right, time now to go to sort of my go-to segment of the show, my go-to segment every week on the podcast. Used to be Butthurt, but now we call it the Whambulance. Yeah, this is not so much a complaint or a butthurt or, well, maybe it could be. Because if you're a member of the Kennedy family or the Kennedy dynasty, this weekend coming up, you're not going to be going to the movie theaters. Because if you'll remember back to 1969, 49 years ago, Ted Kennedy was involved in a crash at night, and a young lady lost her life. And it's basically it happened in an area in Massachusetts called Chappaquiddick. And that's the name of this movie coming out Friday, all over America. It's basically they're taking down one of the great political names and families that they've taken shots over the last couple of decades as their frailties have come to light. And this movie, from what we understand, will do a pretty thorough job of addressing the frailties, the flaws, and just the general BS and multi-layered type of law enforcement and justice we have. Because some people don't have to worry about justice.
Tragedy has a way of defining people. Cripple some people till they curl up into a ball. Oh my God, what have I done?
Well, Mr. Kennedy?
Mr. Kennedy. Dad, see, you're still a man with all the influence.
What the hell happened, Teddy?
It was an accident. I was driving.
A story like this could dominate the headlines for weeks.
Chief, we got a body.
A dead body holds a lot of secrets. Those can be the difference between guilt and innocence. So we need to be in control of them.
There's not a lot of senators that are charged with manslaughter that go on to become president.
What do we do to help the senator?
We tell the truth. Or at least our version of it.
You've been diagnosed with a concussion.
I haven't examined the patient yet.
These theatrics are not going to hold up in a court of law.
Get the hell with you guys!
I'm not going to be the one defined by my flaws.
If her family doesn't blame you, why should America?
I want to be a great man. I just don't know who I am.
family perseveres. We have a true compass and we follow it. 5, 4, 3.
Moses had a temper. Peter betrayed Jesus. I have Chappaquiddick.
Moses had a temper, but he never left a girl at the bottom of the Red Sea.
Wow. How about that last line? Never left a girl at the bottom of the Red Sea. Well, go see it. Judge for yourself. Just FYI, I've seen headlines where, this incident, killed a career, put an end to a dynasty. The so-called Ted Kennedy, the Lion of the Senate, they referred to him as, in 1969, he did not retire from the Senate for 34 years after this incident. So don't feed me too much in the way of a line of BS that justice was done and this put much of a crimp in his career. Again, it's sort of a wambulous / butthurt, and most of the butthurt evidently is on my part. All right? Hey, let's go next to our next segment, and that's the feel-good story of the week, and we got a good one for you this week. And this week's feel-good story of the week features a young man by the name of Isaiah Pead. He was a running back that played at the University of Cincinnati, played in the NFL, played for the Miami Dolphins. Actually showed some signs and showed some potential of being somebody that was going to be around for a while. Tragically had an accident right after he was released by the Dolphins, in which he, at that time, lost a leg at about the mid-thigh. But now, Isaiah Pead has some different aspirations, let's say. He wants to compete in the Paralympics. So the next ones are in 2020. That's his near goal. Let's hear from Isaiah Pead. This is a good story.
Former Dolphins and Rams running back Isaiah Pead. He is in critical but stable condition after a car accident this morning on I-670. Police say Pead's car went through a guardrail, went airborne, and hit several trees on the way down an embankment. Pead was released last month from the Dolphins.
Yeah, really something. Like you can see, the amputation happened pretty fairly high. And, well, let's hear it from him.
I went down to Oklahoma City this past weekend for that first part of the running leg. But talking with my friends before, we were talking about, what's your goals? And I'm like, man, 2020 is the first one I can come get in, and I'll be 30. The next one I'll be 34, and the next one I'll be 38. So I think maybe 3 gold medals. And those 3, Paralympics, God be willing, God with me. That sounds like a hell of a career right there.
Who's going to beat you? I feel like people don't have a chance.
Listen, I tweeted out a couple days ago, it's a fair warning to the Paralympic world, man. I like to talk mess, man. That's what gets me through my competition. So I don't know who's the leaderboards right now, but I'm coming.
Yeah, good for Isaiah Pead. And I know I'll be rooting for him. Everybody here at UnSafe Spaces will be rooting for him. And let's be honest, a little PC is going to be rooting for him to make that comeback. But he's the kind of guy you got to be very careful when you tell him what he can't do, because he will prove you wrong. Hey, thanks for watching this week's UnSafe Spaces. Again, I'm Randy Cross. I want to let you know that you can go to randycross.com. You can go to unsafespacesUSA.com. You can go to YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, the whole group to find this podcast. Please feel free to spread it as much as you can. Love for as many people as possible to see this. And if you have any suggestions, send the email to producer@unsafespacesUSA.com. That's producer@unsafespacesUSA.com. Time now for us to blow up a few stadiums and say happy trails.
Happy trails.